Please rise for the presentation of colors, led by the Meadowcreek High School Air Force JROTC. Our MHS Senior Class President, Nancy Pham, will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Please continue standing for the national anthem sung by Class of 2018 alum, Electra Wright.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may have a seat. Now, please help us in welcoming our Mistress of Ceremony, Miss Natisha Lance from 11 Alive News.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Natisha Lance. I'm an anchor reporter with 11 Alive. If you haven't seen our new 11 o'clock show, it's called The Late Feed. I encourage you all to watch. So I'm a little amused that I am the Mistress of Ceremonies for this today, because I was an okay student. I wasn't a great student. I was very gregarious, very talkative, had to know everything that was going on, pass notes in the classroom. I'm sure many of y'all have those kinds of students in your class. But there was a teacher who was in my life who was able to harness all that energy, all that unfiltered talkativeness, all that unfiltered note passing, and it was my journalism teacher. And I had no interest in going into journalism. I wanted to be on Broadway and do musical theater. And it wasn't until later on that I realized that seed that he planted when I was in college, that I wanted to pursue journalism. So Mr. Mon is his name. He is still a large part of my family. He is still a large part of my life. He has been a champion in my life. And it just speaks to how important your jobs are every day. Toward the end of last school year, we've covered a number of gun violence with teenagers in the Atlanta metro area. And I was able to sit down with Chief Shields of Atlanta Police Department, and I asked her, what is the solution to all of this? What needs to be done? And she said, it's not just parents, it's teachers, as well as law enforcement, all working together in order to secure the future of our children and of our students. So I want to applaud all of you, and I think all of you guys should give yourselves a round of applause as well for the work that you continue to do and the work that you are doing to secure our future and planting those seeds in our students. So first, I want to kick things off by inviting Pastor Stephen Hathaway, who has provided this beautiful space here today, to say a few words on behalf of Victory World Church.
Thank you, everybody. How are you feeling today? Well, I'm one of the pastors here at Victory. I specifically work with high school students, and we're so glad and honored that you would spend some time with us here today. And I thought, you know what, let's kind of start off doing something that we usually do in church. So I thought, let's take up an offering. Go ahead and grab an envelope. Right, I'm just playing. I saw someone go, grab my purse. No, but we do want to say thank you. It really is an honor for you guys to be in the room. My mom was a high school high school teacher. And she taught in Monroe, and I can remember that her job description was extensive, but a lot of the effort that she put in went way past what you would find on a piece of paper. Whether it was taking some students some food after the class was done. I know we many times sometimes would go out, and one student didn't have any glasses. My mom put some money together so that she could be able to even see the chalkboard in the back. There were sometimes students didn't have a place to go, maybe because they were kicked out, and my mom would open up our house to her students. And I understand that for several of you in the room, you really start to work once the final bell rings. And you might not have a lot of students who take a few moments and pull you aside and say, thank you for all the work and time that you've invested into us. But we want you to know we understand here at this church all the work that you put into students' lives. In fact, this past year when you guys were here, one of our own high school students, his name was Andy Ramirez, had a chance to come up on stage. He was a part of creating an awesome website for Meadowcreek, and he had a chance to give a presentation for it, and we were so honored to see him up here. And I know the reason why he was because several of you have invested into his lives, and our church has benefited because of that. That's why it is our joy and our honor to be able just to give back a little bit and say thank you for what you've done to our students, to our families in this community, and God bless you for it. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Pastor Hathaway. So this woman probably needs very little introduction. She is a treasure in this community. Ms. Louise Radloff, right? She has been a Gwinnett County Public School Board member and represents District 5. She has been a champion of the Meadowcreek community for many years, and we are so glad that she is here with us today.
It's my honor to be here. You know, ladies and gentlemen, to start with the national anthem and hear the patriotic song sung by Meadowcreek kids, it's amazing. With all of the challenges that we have in our country and our world, USA is still the best place to live. God bless America. As you can see, I have my Pride and Joy jacket on. It's my Meadowcreek jacket. And as you can see, like your blood, mine runs blue. And it stays blue no matter where I go. But I want to take a minute just to thank you, each and every one, as we begin the school year. And I think I read someplace where leadership belongs to you. That means me. That means you. That means every one of you. The challenges of this district are big. I know that, and you know that. I represent all but one of my schools are title schools, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You make a difference in the kids in the title schools every single day. I wish you the very, very best. I want you to know that I'm available for you. And if there's something that you need or you want to talk about, I'm available. Once again, as we kick the August 6th off with 180,000 kids, most of them or part of them running in the District 5, please know that my heart and my soul is with you. Thanks a lot.
I didn't even ask before. Are you guys fired up for this school year? Yeah. Are you ready? Well, I know one person who is very ready. Dr. Tommy Welch, who is principal of Meadowcreek High School. And before he comes up here, I met Dr. Welch before he was a doctor, probably about 7 years ago. And at that time, I had never met anyone outside of my own teacher, Mr. Mann, who is so passionate about education and passionate about the future of his students and of this district. So I want you to help me welcome Dr. Welch.
Well, good morning, Mustangs. Good afternoon, Mustangs. All right, I see we have a lively bunch here. You all came in full of energy, right? I saw some of you taking photographs with Maverick the Mustang. Did y'all know that was his name? All right, now you know. We have a Maverick, and his name is Maverick the Mustang, all right? I saw you come in with high energy. I know some of you this morning have spent time in your classrooms. If not, some of you in professional development. I've heard some great information from all of your principals in regards to the student growth that we've had this year. You know, there's been a lot of great things that have happened so far in the Meadowcreek cluster. You know, we've had a student go and win the state championship in regards to the science fair. Does anyone know what school that came from? Can I get a whoop whoop or something? All right, whoop whoop. All right, Slopeburn Middle School. Great job, great job. Now, I don't know if you all know, but that takes a lot of time and effort and collaboration between not only the parents, the teachers, and the staff to ensure that that happens. It's one thing to win it, you know, at your district level, but to go in and win it at the state competition is the highest level, obviously, in the state. So I thank you all for your hard work and collaborative effort in moving that forward. You know, we had some great things going on at the elementary school level as well. You know, we have some students that are involved in robotics in this one particular school. Does anyone kind of know what I'm talking about? And they just always seem to, oh, okay, that'll wake you up. All right, you know. I mean, these students, during their time in connections, you know, they really work on STEM. And we know that STEM is a great opportunity for students for science, technology, engineering, math to collaborate and bring those together. It's very difficult at elementary school because, you know, as you all elementary schools know, you're responsible for science, math, social studies, language arts, and everything else, right? So I know how hard your job is, but I want to say thank you to those that are pouring to the students each and every day to ensure that we enrich as much of their education as possible. And I want to just say thank you. I think someone want to yell out the name of the school? There you go, LeBron Elementary School. Great job, great job. I see some of you have this under construction shirt going on. I wanted to see if I needed to put some tape out there. All right. I know y'all just had a good kickoff today. I believe that is Radloff Middle School. Am I correct? All right. Okay. All right. We're looking for great things from you all as well this year. I want to make sure that we continue to move things forward. I know that y'all are the only school that's not a Mustang. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure, no pressure. Raiders gonna be Mustangs. I heard it, I said it. All right. But I really do just want to take this time to welcome all of you. This is a very important time for each and every one of you. This is the first day of planning. The first day. With students, we all know that first day is essential. How you start that first day can determine the trajectory of the rest of their school year. So today, this portion of today is really just to get that fire in the belly, help get us focused as we move forward for this school year, as we move forward as a cluster, to not only meet but exceed all of the expectations that others have for our students, but most importantly, that others have for us. See, that heart of a Mustang is different than any other cluster. And as I'm looking at you, we can speak some things without even saying words. But the heart of a Mustang knows that we work hard each and every day to overcome external barriers that our students may have, right? We work hard each and every day so that our students not only meet, but exceed the expectations. We know that working as a Meadowcreek Mustang, we roll our sleeves up and we get down in the work. So today is a day for you to help provide you with the focus and the energy. Hope you were energized by our students who came up here. These are your students. You'll hear again today from another student. And you'll hear again today from Principal Kafele. And then we'll celebrate you all at the end. So as you sit back and relax, I hope you open up so that we can pour in. And when we pour in, we want to provide you the energy that's necessary so that we move forward and have a successful year. I do want to acknowledge any guests that we have here today. You know, last year we had the kickoff and the word just started popping around that we have the best kickoff. So we might have a couple people, a couple guests. And I want to look. I know we celebrated Miss Radloff. Thank you for being here. We have some district staff members here with us as well. I'm looking and I want to make sure that I get everyone. We have someone from the Leadership Development Office. I want to thank you for coming. She was once a Mustang and now a wonderful torch holder. So we thank you for being here. We have Anthony Smith, Assistant Superintendent. We thank you for being here, sir, and sharing with us in this day. See if we have any elected officials out here. I didn't see any come in yet. But as we move forward today, I want to continue to recognize all the great people who come to share with us today. So remember, open up so we can pour in and get energized. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
All right, thank you, Dr. Welch. I want to take this moment to recognize all of the principals in the Meadowcreek cluster. So when you hear your name, please stand, but hold your applause until all of them have been called. So Dr. Angelique Mitchell, Ferguson Elementary. Claiborne Knight, Graves Elementary. Mesmery Guerlini, Lilburn Elementary. Dr. Maketa Myers, Nesbitt Elementary. Just couldn't hold back. Dr. Kelly Scarborough, Rockbridge Elementary. Dr. Yvette Arthur, Lilburn Middle School. Chiquita Johnson, Lewis Radloff Middle School. And Dr. Tommy T. Welch, Meadowcreek High School. Thank you for all of the work that you are doing. Well, Dr. Welch just talked about being energized by students. So I have a student who many of you may know, Manny Lanz Colini, who is the student council president for Meadowcreek High School, who is going to say a few words.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If we were to take a look back at history, we would see an immense number of great leaders who have promised their lives to their particular causes. Leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., a minister and civil rights activist who poured his life into seeing that all people in America shall live fairly and equally. Or Nelson Mandela, an anti-apartheid activist who would soon later become the president of South Africa, as well as former First Lady Michelle Obama, who has become a major advocate for education worldwide. When we think of leaders, these are often the first people that come to mind, who are the epitome of leadership and who we should all strive to be like. Yet, with that being said, we often believe that they were just born with the ability to lead and that we could never be like them. However, these leaders were often, were teachers, excuse me, a little nervous. We're students like us. They were students and children like we all were once. And just like us, they looked up to others. They looked up to the adults around them for intelligence and guidance, whether that be family or teachers, especially the latter. Teachers are often the best mentors for upcoming leaders. Martin Luther King Jr., take his case in point. As a student at Boston University, he met a professor by the name of Howard Thurman, and he soon became his mentor and taught him the values of nonviolence. Dr. King would then use these same principles to lead the civil rights movement, and he would soon teach his students the same, in turn becoming a teacher himself. That's what we should realize. Leaders are teachers, and teachers are leaders. This cluster is a prime example of it. My 5th grade teacher at Ferguson, Miss Farrington, taught me that failure is okay, and failure is needed to learn, grow, and prosper, so don't fret when you fail. My 7th grade teachers at Radloff, Mr. Dale and Miss Price, They taught me through their compassionate care and teaching that when you have a passion to do something, you will excel at it, no matter what. Last but not least, my 9th grade teacher at Meadowcreek, Miss Farrell, she taught me that adversity will always arise, but through hard work and willpower, you can overcome anything. These are just my experiences in this cluster, but I know you are all leaders within your respective schools through teaching. By educating, creating bonds, and sharing experiences, you make an incredible impact within your schools and community. Through promising your life to the betterment of the youth in the Meadowcreek cluster, the promise of leadership starts with you. Thank you.
Thank you to Manny. All right, it's now time for your keynote speaker, Dr. Baruti Kafele. A highly regarded urban educator in New Jersey for over 20 years, Principal Baruti Kafele distinguished himself as a master teacher and a transformational school leader. As a middle and high school principal, Principal Kafele led the transformation of 4 different New Jersey urban schools, including the mighty Newark Tech, which went from a low-performing school in need of improvement to national recognition, which included U.S. News and World Report magazine recognizing it 3 times as one of America's best high schools. One of the most sought-after education speakers in America, Principal Kafele is impacting America's schools. He has delivered over 2,000 conference and program keynotes, professional development workshops, parenting seminars, and student assemblies over his 32 years of public speaking. An expert in the area of attitude transformation, Principal Kafele is a leading authority for providing effective classroom and school leadership strategies toward closing what he coined the attitude gap. He is also the author of 8 books, which include his national bestseller, Closing the Attitude Gap, Motivating Black Males to Achieve in School and in Life, The Principal 50 and the Teacher 50, and his 9th book is My School, A Better School Because I Lead It, will be released in November. So, help me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Kafele.
Don't leave me hanging. Good afternoon, everybody. I didn't know this many people were in here. Wow. Good to be here, good to be here. You know, I got to do some preliminary stuff first. My grandmother, she passed quite a few years ago, but she transitioned disappointed in me that I didn't become a professional basketball player. Now, the truth of the matter is, I wasn't good enough to be a professional basketball player. I wasn't even good enough to play at the junior college level. But in her mind, I should have been in the NBA. So I went through these years. Matter of fact, to go way back, at the age of 13, I said no to education. So I stopped going to school, and I became infatuated with the streets. Then at 14, I went back because my mom was so distraught that I said, I got to please my mother. So I went on back to school, but it didn't work out for me. So to make a long story short, I went to 4 schools in high school. I graduated in 5 years with a 1.5 GPA and a counselor that told me I'd never amount to anything on the last day of school before graduation. I took him up on it and did nothing for the next 5 years. My grandmother still thought I should be in the NBA. So somewhere along the way, I got it together, went to school, graduated summa cum laude, and never looked back. So I went on, and somewhere around the 4th year of teaching, they selected me as the school, the district, the county teacher of the year, and then state runner-up. So my grandmother knew that, and she cried, I cried, but she still said should be in the NBA. So before I get started, as I do when I'm on these big stages, let me just talk to my grandmother for a hot second. Hey, Nana, you see where I'm at. you see me on this big stage, this big time, Nana. Look at all these folks here. There's a lot of them in the room. Nana, NBA wasn't in my DNA, wasn't for me. But check me out for the next few minutes, Nana. I'm going to do God's work. I'm going to talk to these educators. And then once I finish, I'm going to take my seat and I'm going to finish watching this program. Thank you, Nana. All right, let's get back to this program now, y'all. I got to talk to my grandmother every now and then. You know, Tommy Welch was just up here, Dr. Welch. I don't mean to put him on the spot. Where's he sitting? He's somewhere. That's my dude right there. That's my dude. See, I met him years ago, and I've been keeping up with him ever since. So when I'm at certain places and he's there, I always tell my guys, I say, yeah, you got to meet Tommy Welch, man. This guy's on the come up. I mean, he already up here, but he's on the come up, right? So I'm pleased to be in this space and directly invited by him. So I just want to thank you publicly, Dr. Welch, for the opportunity to be up here today. You know, folks, Meadowcreek cluster, you back. We here. And I ask you, I could be rhetorical, but let me just be literal. You ready? Yes. Once again, are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. See, somewhere amongst this cluster, the children that you service, there's a youngster at home right now, somewhere. And that youngster is looking forward to your first day. I believe it's August 6th. That youngster is looking forward. And a lot of times there's these stereotypes that kids don't want to come back to school from summer break. They want more time and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here to remind you, there's this youngster that can't wait to get back. This youngster's trajectory, though, was a little tricky. This youngster went through a whole lot of challenges. The hand that was dealt at birth was overwhelming. The hand that was dealt at birth was just replete with challenges. So youngster, by the time he arrived at school, and we'll make him a young man today, youngster came in with a reputation. Youngster came in not doing what was expected. Youngster came in lacking motivation. Youngster came in not really wanting to be here. So pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, the reputation becomes stronger in a negative way. And then as the years progressed, somewhere along the way, he met one of you. And upon meeting you, it really wasn't a big deal. But within that interaction that you had with this youngster, you kept saying to the youngster, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm in your corner. I'm in your corner. I'm in your corner. And you kept saying it. And somewhere along the way, youngster started believing it. And youngster embraced it, took ownership of it. And all those troubles from the past disappeared in the classroom. And youngster becomes this high-flying student. Because one teacher said that you are somebody. Just one. It could have been more. But there was something about the passion of this particular teacher, and you're sitting right in this room. You said, I got you. I'm with you. I don't give up that easily. I'm never going to quit on you. And now that youngster is at home. It's got an opportunity to see you again this year. Might not be in the same class, it may be. but the youngster gets to be in your presence. And see, when we talk about presence, I was listening to Dr. Welch, and he mentioned that word presence. Let me go a little further. See, it's one thing when you and I speak and we express ourselves, we express our thoughts. But it's another thing when you just walk in and your presence does the talking. Here's you, and you telling whole paragraphs. Just your body is speaking excellence to young people. Just the sight of you is speaking excellence to young people. I'm asking you, when those youngsters come back next week, are you that teacher? See. Are you that teacher that some youngster can't wait? I can't wait to just be in her presence. I can't wait to just be in his presence. I just want to shake his hand. I just want to hug her. Because teacher made me feel whole. This youngster, doesn't matter what the experience is for the rest of K-12 experience. Because you inside of that youngster, see. See, what I'm talking about is attitude. As a matter of fact, we're not using a clicker up here, so I got to talk to these control folks. Go to my next slide, y'all. So now, isn't that awkward? So I guess they heard me. Don't let me yell it out now. So here we go. Keep going, keep going. Next one. Stay right there. See, there's this thing that I call the attitude gap. And I say it's the gap between those students who have the will to achieve excellence and those who do not. Once again, the gap between those students who have the will to achieve excellence and those who do not. I'm not worried about a youngster's skill. I never have been. I'm not worried about a youngster's ability. I never have been. My biggest concern is how do I take this youngster and convince youngster of your greatness? How do I do that? Because I know that once I convince youngster that you are somebody, that you are extraordinary, that you are phenomenal, that you are amazing, I know that youngster is going to soar. I know it. See? But if on the other hand, I'm going to hammer you and hammer you and hammer you with mathematics, language arts, social studies, science, and I'm going to hammer you and I'm going to hammer you, but I forgot your attitude. Oh, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if I can get you fired up, just fired up about yourself, fired up about learning something new today, but then the big one, fired up about the prospects for your future. Oh, man. Because, see, I remember when I was a little thinner, had this fro, had this goatee, and I was a first-year vice principal. Oh, man, we talking 1997. And I'm sitting on the front row in Vegas at the Harris Hotel. I had been a speaker up to that point since '86, but my audiences were empty cafeterias, and I prayed at least one parent came to that PTA meeting, right? So I'm sitting on the front row, and Harry Wong is up on the stage. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be like Harry Wong one day. I'm going to have a big audience like Harry Wong. And man, that thing took a long time, y'all. But then, if I could get this just slightly heavy, it wasn't realistic for me anyway. Because I didn't see guys that looked like me that were doing that work. See? So I said, where's my frame of reference? Where's that one that's doing this with these crowds and I could follow his lead? Man, that dude didn't exist. So I had to become him for my younger brothers that's working their way up, right? So I said, I'm going to make it happen. But I had to make it realistic in my mind so I could really do it. I'm saying to you, you got to make it realistic in that youngster's mind. But in doing so, there's some film you got to watch. I call it game film. See, watch this. Well, we got Falcon fans in the room? All right. Y'all always get to the big dance and, you know. All right. But we got this year coming. It's a new year, right? So let me get back. So what the Falcons and all the other teams, what they do, they have this game. And then at the end of the game, win or lose, as the sports fans in the room know, here's what they do not do. They don't go to the practice field tomorrow and start practicing for the next team. Or they don't take a day off and then go to the practice field the next day and start practicing for the next team. They don't do that. Once they come back together, they come into a room like this, just a little smaller, and have a screen like that. And they watch their film. They watch themselves. But I mean, they don't look at it like a film. They analyze it. They break it down. They critique it. They look at it frame by frame. And then ultimately, they use that as a basis for practice the next day. But they also look at their opponent's film. And they break that down frame by frame, looking at what worked, what didn't work. What do we need to enhance? What do we need to purge? What do we need to adjust? What do we need to change? Well, I'm asking you, Meadowcreek, how often do you study your film? See, if in the game of football, the game of basketball, the game of baseball, the game of hockey, the game of whatever, athletes are studying film, I'm asking you, how often are you studying your film? And the answer should be every opportunity that I have, but not by way of a camera, but by way of a mirror. Self-reflection. My claim to fame, what got me on this stage, is nothing but a mirror. That's all. What allowed me to live my dream as a teacher, as a principal, as a presenter, is a mirror. Because the mirror is my game film. So I go to my mirror every day. I looked around on my flight this morning. I flew this morning. I couldn't believe I got up early like that and got on a plane, but I did it. And usually I come the night before. And I'm looking at all the folks around me. I said, man, they sleep. All of them, they out, snoring and carrying on. Because that's a 7:30 flight. Not me, y'all. I was all into my film. I said, I knew where I was coming today. I was in my film watching me from the last presentation the other day. I'm watching my film. What I need to cut out of the presentation? What do I need to add to it? What do I need to purge? What do I need to adjust? See, you got to look at your film. Because every day you got to come in there renewed. Not just coming in there renewed this year. So August 6th, you come in renewed, but now on August 7th, you got to come in renewed again. August 8th, you coming in renewed again. But so your film is your self-reflection. You got to dive deep into yourself. But then further is the self-assessment. And you got to analyze you. You've got to evaluate you. How dare you wait for an evaluator of record to tell you of your effectiveness? Your mirror will never lie. Your mirror will tell the truth. I could stand on this stage and tell lies until I'm done. But as soon as I look at that screen, it's going to force me to be honest. See, your mirror's not going to lie. Have that conversation with your mirror. Self-reflection, self-assessment, self-adjustment. See, come in there renewed. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this presentation, I refuse to keep saying next to these guys. So if there's some visual folks in here and you need to see print, just yell it out for me, and I'll say next to these guys. If not, I'm just going to go from my head. Right? We good? Okay, very good. So with that said, let's go back to this attitude gap. There are some youngsters in your classrooms who, all of them are brilliant, but there's some youngsters that appear not to want it. And so many of them, the appearance of not wanting it is justifiable based on their lives. They're dealing with some real heavy-duty issues. Got plates this wide, content that high. So, teacher, do you realize what it is to walk in my shoes, teacher? Teacher, trade places with me for just a day. Just walk in my shoes for one day so that you can understand my challenges. Many of us in this profession, we wouldn't last in his shoes for 10 minutes because life is that much of a challenge. But if we don't understand that, we don't know how to make the adjustment. But when we have that understanding, oh, okay, I understand what youngsters dealing with. So I understand the adaptation I have to make. So hence this terminology, the attitude gap. I just want to change his attitude because I don't have impact over what's going on outside in his society, in his world. But this little square called a classroom, oh man, I have influence, if not control. You got influence, if not control, over what's happening in that classroom. So therefore now, I want to change your attitude, but there's a question that emerges. The first question is, are they excited about themselves? Hey, teacher, what do you do when youngster walks in on the 6th and you detect that youngster is not excited about self? What do you do? Because that math lesson, as important as it is, that science lesson, as important as it is, it's going to be hard for me to embrace it if I don't love that person in my mirror. But sometimes that lack of love is so justifiable. I learned a long time ago, as a teacher, as a principal, if I can tell kids every day that you're somebody, if I can create that kind of space to be able to tell youngsters, to put them in an environment that's so overwhelmingly positive, that I remind you and tell you every day that you're somebody valuable, eventually that youngster is going to start believing that. Then I can feed them the mathematics. But if youngster's not excited about self, I'm not excited about me. I don't see that I can be somebody successful. It's going to be hard to pour that content. The rhetorical question becomes, teacher, how do you address that? But number 2, are they excited about learning? I told you my story. I ain't want to learn nothing. There was nothing relevant to learn in my world. Just give me them streets and I'm good. That's all I needed. I didn't want to learn something until I turned 23, 10 years later. So I'm 23 years old with an intellectual capacity of a 13-year-old because I hadn't learned a thing. I didn't allow myself to learn anything. I'm speaking for some of our children. What do you do? What do you say when youngster has no context for learning? When youngster doesn't want to learn something new, or at least it appears so. What do you say? What do you do? But then that third question Is he excited? Is she excited about the prospects for her future? Think about all those children that come into your classrooms and their world is this big. That's it. I don't know there's a world out here. I don't know there's a world that I have access to. See, how do you make that youngster understand that, no, you do have access, but it may not necessarily be a straight line. See, it may not be this way. It may be way that way, in order for youngster to get to the same point. Let me just give you a quick object lesson. Here's what I mean. You and I have stood right here. Matter of fact, I'll use this podium. We stood right here, and we saw the goal. Here's the goal, right here. We see it, but I can't reach it because there are certain obstacles in the path. There's certain isms that exist that I can't get to it. I see it, it's right there, but I can't get to it. So unless you and I teach youngster that here's the goal, but I can't touch it. So I might have to, let me show you. I might have to go this way. Watch this, y'all. I'm just going to go down here, and I'm going to run this way, right, and run this way. And I might have to go this way in order to get to the same place. I'm in shape, y'all, so we're going to be all right. And I got to go all the way around here, all the way around here, all the way around here, regardless of how long it takes, all the way around here. Look at that. Y'all, those of you not in shape and you can't do this, you better watch me. And now, I achieved my goal. I'm here. See, I'm here. I got it. See, are you making youngster understand that I might have to go like this? Because it may not be realistic based on where I am. But see, this definition, the attitude gap, it looks at staff too. Watch this. The gap between those educators who have the will to be great at their craft and those who do not. Let me give you that again. The gap between those educators who have the will to be great at their craft and those who do not. Here's what I'm saying. Everybody in this room, and I know a little bit about this district. I know there's phenomenal people in here in every seat in this room. I know that. There's no mistake here. But I'm saying wherever you are, if you're way up here, you got to take that bad boy a little bit higher. You got to have the will to be something special, the will to be something phenomenal. Because the higher you go, the translation is those young people start achieving at levels previously unimagined. But if we ever get stagnant and now we stop growing, then essentially what's happening is we're regressing. You and I have to look at this thing called teaching and learning, leaders in the room, this thing called leadership, and we conclude this is my thing. This is what I do. I refuse to be second rate in what I do. I refuse to be average, mediocre, okay at what I do. I got to be phenomenal. I got to be a beast at what I do. See, that's a mindset. That's an attitude. But if you don't bring that attitude, it becomes difficult to reach the most difficult. See? So that begs three questions as well. Number one, am I passionate about children? Not just that one that's coming in there high-flying, self-motivated, not just that youngster. But that other youngster that tends to get himself into trouble, that tends to get herself into trouble, that's not achieving at the levels that we want to, that's not in attendance at the levels that we want to, are you fired up about that youngster? Because that's the one that matters. I'm that kid. Thank God there were some people in my life that didn't throw me to the curb. See, I'm saying to you, you have got to walk into that classroom based on your game film analysis, knowing that this youngster is going to soar because you're there, because you've got this passion for that youngster. You want for that youngster what that youngster doesn't appear at this moment to want for him or herself. You go to sleep at night, and that youngster's on your mind. You have conversations with folks in your life, significant others, good friends, and all that, family, and that's the thing you want to talk about. That youngster stays with you emotionally because you're passionate about that youngster, see. But the second question is, are you passionate about this craft called teaching and learning? As I said before, is this your thing? I look at a lot of sports on my downtime, and I'm particularly attracted to those athletes who pour their all into their preparation for the game. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about their preparation for the game. One that comes to mind, it's probably not one of the most popular people to name in the state of Georgia, but I'm going to name him anyway because he's my guy. His name is Kobe. And Kobe was a beast in preparation. A beast in preparation. I'm saying, we're talking about a guy that showed up at the gym at 4:30 when practice wasn't until 9. A guy that left practice after everybody else had been gone for hours, just pouring into his craft. I'm asking you, are you willing to pour that much energy into your craft? But number 3 says, are you passionate about your own professional growth and development in those areas that you deem need improvement? I did not say that your administrator deems needs improvement. I said that you deem needs improvement. I'm saying that you looked at yourself and you said, man, I need to get stronger in this area. I'm not where I need to be in this area. So therefore, now you fired up, you passionate. You know what you got to do to take it to another level. But then, to move a step further, I had given this presentation a title, Critical Questions for Inspiring Classroom Excellence, / a book I wrote, The Teacher 50. And it's comprised of a whole lot of self-reflective questions, and I'm not here all day, obviously. I just want to share with you a couple of these questions, maybe 5, and that's going to take up all my time. And I want you, my challenge to you is to take these questions and take ownership of them. Take them with you for the rest of your career. In fact, I use that word career lightly. Take them with you for the rest of your mission. So I always say that there's a difference between, you got these 2 teachers working in one school. Matter of fact, let's say educators working in one school. One of them reports to a job every day. The other one reports to a mission every day. The outcomes of the 2 are going to be dramatically different. They're not going to be comparable. The one on a job is going to get job results. The one on a mission, they're going to get other world results. See, there's a difference here. So you and I have to continuously go to that mirror and ask ourselves, which one am I? Is this my mission or is this my job, my career, my profession? See, I ran around this auditorium. I couldn't have done that 3 years ago. I'd have passed out just going down the steps. But something funny happened in my life. I was standing on a stage like this 3 years ago with a mic in my hand, and I had a massive heart attack. Main artery clogged. 100%. Long story short, they rushed me to the hospital. I didn't think I was going to make it because it was that excruciating, but they told me to hold on, and I tried. They got a stent in that artery, the LAD, and everything kind of settled down. They said, lose your weight. It's too much. Change your diet. It's horrendous. I said, you ain't got to tell me twice, right? So I lost 40 pounds in about 4 months. Thank you. Changed the diet drastically, and now I can run around auditoriums, right? But prior to, so I'm saying that to say, looking at a lot of film, y'all, forced me to make some changes. So I want to put a mirror before you, and then I'm going to be done. And I want you to look at you. And the first question I'm asking you, I'm asking you in the first person, self-reflectively, are my students, meaning yours, are my students at an advantage? Because I am their teacher. Let me pose that again. Are my students at an advantage? Because I am their teacher. So in other words, you got millions of kids in America. You got thousands of teachers in America. And of the millions and the thousands, one youngster, one teacher wind up in the same space by fate. I'm asking you, because you and that youngster wound up in the same space, is that youngster better off? Is that youngster on the best possible trajectory because youngster wound up with you? Now, quite frankly, you and I can't answer that question. We'll never be able to measure that, but we don't have to. All we're talking here is confidence. All we're talking here is attitude. And I'm asking you, is your attitude such that when those 20 some odd, or if it's higher, whatever the number is, walk into that classroom, are they in the best possible hands? If your answer is no or I don't know, it's just like, I guess we're near Georgia State, so it's just like Georgia State football team, University of Georgia, whoever your team is, walks out onto the field, takes a glance at the opponent, and accepts defeat before the game even begins. It's the same thing. See, you and I have to walk into that classroom looking at that youngster, knowing that that youngster is at an advantage this year. If never before, this year is a game changer because you are in my space now. And I don't lose. This is you speaking now, not me. I don't lose. My children don't fail. They'll have temporary setbacks, but they do not fail. They do not quit. They do not give up. That's your mindset, see? But imagine teachers that clapped that you got a teacher in your building that says, I ain't hearing that guy. I'm not going to conclude that I'm the best possible option for these kids. Then those of you who just clapped, you need to talk to that teacher at some point, right? You got to have some serious conversation at some point. Because the way we build that Super Bowl winning team is by all of us walking in as an army, knowing we got this. And then we make it happen. Because in your mind, my students are at an advantage because I am their teacher, period. See, that's an attitude. But then that second self-reflective question, it says, hey, teacher, why do you teach anyway? Hey, teacher, why are you in this room? Why do you wake up to this mission? Why are you reporting to that school? What is your reason? What is your because? What is your purpose? What is your why? See? What's your definition of your work? See, there's a lot of us, you think about everybody in this room. You started off your journey, you were just minding your business, going through life, and somewhere along the way, it hit you. I want to be a teacher. Just came out of nowhere. I want to be a teacher. And then it grew, and it grew. I want to be a teacher. And if they give me that job as a teacher, oh, man, I'm taking them kids to places they never imagined before. And then you say, but there's a specific reason why I want to do this in the first place, whatever that was. And then you went on, got your credentials, went to school, got licensed, and here you are as this teacher. Well, here's what I've learned in my role as consultant and having the opportunity, the blessing to talk to just thousands of teachers in my life. I meet so many folks, leadership as well, who right there at this point on the stage, this was the notion that said, I want to be a teacher, and here's why. And then here you are over here. And what's happened is so many of us, we didn't bring him and her on the ride with us. So now here we are, we over here. But this person, this naive, innocent person said, I'm going to change the world through my classroom. I'm going to make it happen for these kids. And then life happened. So now you over here, it's 10 years later, it's 20 years later, it's whatever it is. And you over here, some of us, we frustrated. We feel the pressure. We feel the demands. We face the obstacles. Life gets tough. Guess what? Of course it is. Because you didn't bring him or her with you along the way. See, let me tell you something. That younger version of me, I don't step out of my bed without that guy. Because that guy's innocence is what keeps me alive. See, his innocence, he said, we're going to do this. We're going to make this thing happen. But if I'm over here without him, the pressures of the world will just do me in. See, you got to make sure that person's with you, but then you got to make sure that that definition, that why that person had is walking with you along this journey. See, what's your why? Every day you walk into that classroom, you got to be driven by your why. See, your why is like a straight and narrow walk. You can always distinguish a person that's operating out of a why and the one that's not, because the one that's walking in a why, you can see it. It's in their swag. It's in their strut. It's in their stride. It's something about the way they just walk. It's straight like that. They deal with stuff over there. They deal with stuff over here, but they focus on the why. But you walk into a school and you encounter people that's not rooted in their why. Here they go. They all over the place. Oh, my God. That's the one that doesn't have the why. So just stuff coming at them. And they trying to deal with it and deflect it. And then they go home and they question themselves, is this really what I want to do with the rest of my life, teaching these kids? But the one that's rooted in a why, man, they got it, man. That's what they do. That's what they do. Hey, Meadowcreek, what's your why? What's that definition? What's that thing that wakes you up in the morning? You sleep, you tired, you in this deep sleep, but right at the precise moment, bam, you up, man. Like, I'm ready to resume from where I left off yesterday. Your why. See, you can't lose sight of that. Let's go to the third one. Hey, somebody, where will your students be 10 years from now as a result of having you as their teacher? Oh, man. Where they going to be? I'm on this cruise ship a couple years ago. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be on a cruise ship tomorrow. My wife's so mad I'm down here. Because if the flight gets canceled, guess what? See ya. Right? 8 days. So I said, look here. If the flight gets canceled, I'm just going to spread my wings and fly myself, right? So we're going to be fine. So now, Here's what I'm saying. I'm on the cruise ship. I see this young man. He looked familiar, but he had this long, you know how the young man got the long, bushy beard. Man, I couldn't tell if that was the kid. So I'm seeing him like, that looked like him, but I can't see behind all that hair on his face, right? So I said to my wife, I think that was one of my kids. She said, well, go ask him. I said, but what if it's not, man? It's going to be embarrassing, right? So she said, all right. She said, well, you got to figure something out. I said, no, I got it. When I see him tomorrow on this ship, I'm going to stop in my tracks and go like this here. And if it's him, he going to notice me and say, that's Principal Kafele. So I saw him. I'm walking around the ship, man, got my shorts on, all that. And I'm like this here. He said, Principal Kafele. I said, yeah. So now, long story short, we hugged and embraced. He said, man, I'm doing big things, man. I went to college, but I got a tractor trailer that I own, man. He said, I'm getting ready to have a fleet. He said, I'm doing big things, man. I'm excited. I said, how old are you now? He said, I'm 27. I said, oh, man, you're doing big things. I hadn't seen him since he was in 8th grade. So now, after that, I didn't see him anymore. Where will your students be 10 years from now as a result of having you as their teacher? Last day of the cruise, day 8, I'm eating dinner with the fam. He walks up to me, hey Principal Kafele, can I see you for a minute? Yes, sir. Go ahead. So he said, no, I want to see you privately. Oh, okay. So we go in the corner. What's going on? He said, Principal Kafele, I didn't have the nerve to say this to you the other day when I saw you. I just wasn't comfortable. He said, but I'm comfortable now. I said, what's on your mind? He said, Principal Kafele, I told you what I'm doing. He said, but there's a reason for that. I said, what's the reason? He said, you were my principal back in 8th grade. He said, I'm the man I am today because of you, sir. So now I'm happy, but watch this, y'all. I'm not like ready to do cartwheels. Here's why. I had a why. My why, which everybody in the city of Newark knew, New Jersey, was to take my boys and transform them into young men. Mom, give me your sons and do this favor for me. Put them in a shirt, tie, slacks, shoes, and a belt. Do that for me. And I promise you, I got an army of men from throughout this city, and we're going to be pouring into your sons. And when they graduate, I'm going to give you back young men. So Mom worked with me, and we had all them kids in shirt, tie, slacks, shoes, and a belt every Monday morning. So now I see this young man. I can't get excited. You know why? If you have a why, and you have a goal, and you have an expectation, why would you do cartwheels when it comes into fruition? Didn't you expect that? See, didn't you expect it? So if we put the program together, I expect you to become a man versus solely a male. See, we made the distinction. We ain't trying to, you came into us as males. We ain't sending you out as a male. We're sending you out as a young man. There's a difference. So I'm not excited because I expect it. There's a difference. So he said to me, but Principal Kafele, it's not just me. It's all of us. We all doing well because of what you poured into us in 8th grade. See, high school, he said, we ain't get nothing. College, we ain't get nothing. But what you gave us in 8th grade carried us through. Imagine that. Hey, folks, I'm getting ready to sit down. I'm in the church, so I could do the Baptist preacher thing. That's about the 3rd time I said that. So now, listen. Listen. Let me go to the next one. Hey, teacher. Do your students see in you and through you who and what they can become? So here you are. You walking into the classroom, leaders, you walking into the school, your presence now. Can youngster just look at you and say, there's my model right there. There's my example right there. See, I'm not going out looking for celebrities. even on video, to be a role model for my kids, to be a lesson for my kids, to be an example for my kids. Let me be that. It's the same thing as me in my role as a father to my 2 sons and daughter. Let me position myself so they don't have to go outside of me to find examples of success. Let me be that in my house. See? So you want to know what a human being is? This upstanding? Check me out. You want to know what a man is? Check me out. You want to know what a father is? Check me out. Want to know what a husband is? Check me out. Want to know what success is? Check me out. That's what I want to be for my kids. See? So as an educator, I want to be the same thing. And I don't care if we're not of the same nationality, gender, language, race, ethnicity, height, size, it don't matter. Let me just be that example. Somebody in the room might have said, but how do I get there, Principal Kafele? Because you just said something that kind of hit home for me and resonated with me. Let me tell you how. By being diligent about forging that relationship with that youngster. See, once you fake the funk, then as Boosie said, your nose has got to grow, right? Now, some of y'all don't know what I just said. You don't know what I said. So just ask your neighbor later on. But if we got some P-Funk fans in here, then you understand. I'm a funketeer for life, right? So I know it's folks in here like, what in the world? He's talking about something, and the people responding to that. What is that, right? So, but let me throw this last one at you. And I'm going to be done. Hey, somebody. Are you the number one determinant of the success or failure of your students? Somebody said, wait a minute, what you just asked me? Glad you asked. Let me repeat it. Are you, we said we're keeping it self-reflective. Am I the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students? Here's what I came all the way from Jersey City to tell you. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. See, there are things happening outside, things happening that you and I have no control over, zero. But once they walk into your space, you got that. I'm not letting some kid come into my space and fail. That's my mindset, though. You can't come into my world and fail and underachieve and give up and accept mediocrity, accept okay, accept getting by. You can't come into my orbit with that. So therefore, when I look at you, student, my mindset, I got this. Because I am the number one determinant, not the variables out there. I will not lose to that. I just got to come different. I got to move a different way. But I ain't losing to no gangs. I ain't losing to no drugs. I'm not losing to no crime. I'm not losing to no absent fathers. I'm not losing to no hip-hop music that has negative lyrics in it. I'm not losing to none of that. That's a mindset. That's an attitude. That's all it is. I'm asking you, am I the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students? These kids coming on August 6th, they blessed, and I use that word deliberately. They blessed because they got you, see. I heard big things about this district over the years. They blessed. There are kids going into districts that are struggling. They've gone through all sorts of issues and challenges and so forth, as any would, including, I'm sure, yourselves. But this personnel in this room, I know that these kids are coming to some of the brightest, the baddest, bad meaning good, the greatest, the most extraordinary teachers in America. They're coming to you. There are no excuses. All you got to do is get it done. So I want you to repeat after me if you believe this, and if you don't believe it, then I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to look at me. But first, I want to tell you what I want you to repeat. I just want you to say after me, not yet, I am, not yet, the number one determinant of the success or failure of my, put emphasis on that word my because they're yours, students. Again, I am, not yet, the number one determinant, because I wanted to marinate, of the success or failure of my students. Let's do this together, y'all. On three, 1, 2, 3. I am. Oh, come on, y'all. I don't hear you. I don't hear y'all. Let's try that again. On three, 1, 2, 3. I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Now, I'm getting ready to sit down, y'all. I know, hey, Baptist preacher in me. Listen, if you go in there and like that, it ain't going to happen. Let's do this thing one more time. Just follow my lead. Follow my lead. I'm getting ready to take this roof right off of this, just raise it. Here we go. I am the number one determinant of the success or failure. Here you go. Bring this back here. Of my students. You have a great year. Have a great one. Knock it out. Knock it out the park.
Thank you to Dr. Kafele. I'm now going to ask, it looks like they're ready, Dr. Welch and Dr. Smith, who's the assistant principal and athletic director of Meadowcreek High School, to come up to the stage for the True Blue Jacket presentation. Was there ooze?
All right, good afternoon, Mustangs. How we doing this afternoon? All right. So, after being fired up from Principal Kafele, thank you, sir, for that powerful message. Thank you. We want to take this time to celebrate our True Blue Mustangs. So, a True Blue Mustang is that of a Meadowcreek cluster. So, with that being said, everyone, please give yourselves a round of applause because you all are True Blue Mustangs. So we had in February, this is the second year, we have in February where we celebrate all of our True Blue Mustangs for their years of service with 5 or more years of service. So Dr. Welch has taken upon himself to make sure that everyone, well, those feel special who have spent the most time in this cluster. So at this time, I'm going to name 2 names. I have 2 names of those individuals, if they could please come up. The first is Susan Hall, Meadowcreek Elementary. Come on down. And, okay. All right, Susan Hall, she had 33 years with the cluster. So let's applaud that. And then the next person is Pamela Guevara, Lilburn Elementary School. If you could come on down, Miss Guevara. There she is. So Miss Guevara has 25 years of service in the cluster. And both these individuals, both of these young ladies attended the cluster event that we had in February. And it's important that you come in and join in on this celebration because it does have perks. Okay, all right. Stay here for a moment. So basically, I want to get this right. So these Letterman jackets are on behalf of Dr. Welch and Meadowcreek High School for your years of service to the Meadowcreek cluster. Thank you. Thank you. Not yet. Can't leave yet. So I want to thank you for your service. You know, for those of you that come to the True Blue event, what you know is that we celebrate you all that have 5 or more years of experience. And if you're there, what we do is see who had the most years of experience, and then you win a token of our appreciation for your attendance. So today we have someone in our crowd who has more years of experience than myself and you put together. Miss Radloff has joined us today, so we created a legacy coat for Miss Radloff. Come on up, Miss Radloff. Now, we know you have a lot of gifts from Meadowcreek High School, from Radloff, and from all the other schools, but we started this tradition, and I said, okay, I got to get her before she retires. Now, I don't know when you're going to retire, but I don't want to get a surprise email one day that says, you know, well, I'm deciding to retire, so there's no better time than the present. So this coat has, obviously, it has the Meadowcreek U logo, but on the back it has also has Meadowcreek and some of the accomplishments that we've had over the years. So I know you have a lot of coats, but I hope that you wear that with pride, as well as with our other True Blue participants and our winners. So thank you, Ms. Radloff. Thank you. So for those of you who are not yet True Blue Mustangs and have not had 5 years or more, I encourage you all to do so. We'll continue to do this throughout the years. I'd like to thank Balfour. They contribute a lot to this. They give us the coats actually for free because they want to continue to inspire the Meadowcreek cluster through the work that they do. So I want to thank you all for your time, but I also want to, most importantly, thank you all for your commitment to the Meadowcreek cluster. Thank you all. Thank you. You know, as we close here, I just want to give out 2 other presents before we close of appreciation. I do want you to think about those 5 questions that Principal Kafele posed to us. You know, they're 5 very thought-provoking questions. You know, the best teachers leave you with things that keep your mind going as you leave. So that last statement was, you know, talked about us as educators reflecting and really thinking about, you know, are we either determining success or failure for our students, right? And we all took that challenge that we are. I also like to go back, I believe it was question number 3. Talked about making sure that you are the example for your children. You know, you would have think that he would have read our story, our demographics, what we have here, is that it seems like he really understands that, you know, everyone may not have that example. So we know that when you sign that contract, right, mentor, dad, mom, grandma may not have been what you thought. you needed to be, but do you put that best foot forward every day so that they can see in you what they can become? So I thank you for those thoughtful questions. It's like you're reading, like you took a mirror of Meadowcreek High School, and you're challenging us to be there for our students. So Principal Kafele, I'd like to provide you some Meadowcreek swag to wear. You said you exercise frequently. So in here we have a shirt for you to jog in. Please make sure you wear it with pride. Run through the neighborhood or as you're traveling. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And our wonderful MC for this evening, Miss Natisha Lance, if you can come on up. On behalf of the Meadowcreek Cluster, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to give back to your community. And most importantly, thank you for sharing this time with us, with our teachers on their first day of pre-planning. We thank you for your time and your professionalism and your kind words at the beginning.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And there's also some Meadowcreek swag in there for you as well. Please make sure you wear it as you're running or jogging or doing whatever it is you do. Wear it with pride. Well, that's the wrap of today. You had a powerful first day. Remember, that first day is essential. It's important. So hope the words that you received today, those five questions, provide some thoughtful reflection for you as you drive home. Notice I did say drive home because I think I want to check with the bosses. All right, that's just for me. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, okay, all right, I'll keep that too. All right, okay, move on, Tommy. All right, so those 5 questions, reflect on as you're driving to wherever it is you need to go, right? And I hope that they keep with you as you move through this school year as we prepare on that first day. And I keep harping on that first day because for some of your first graders, it's their first grade experience. It might be their parents' first grade experience. Can you make it the best experience possible? Because whether they make $10,000 a year or $200,000 a year, they have anxiety and excitement about that first day. And they want for their child to have the best experience possible. And they're trying their hardest to provide the best experience possible for them that they know of on that first day. So I ask on this first day, when we come on the 6th, that you work as hard as you can and you think of those 5 questions as we move forward to make sure that we are the number one determinant of our students' success and failures. Have a great day.